Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new interview with him, who is telling us some interesting details about everything surrounding the myth of the Backrooms. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. I think I'm happy to be here once again. I know many might wonder why I'm sharing all of this, but we'll get to that later.
All right, let's continue. Do you want to say anything before we start? We left off at Thomas's boxes.
Yes, I wanted to say something. First, I have to confess that I was very close to watching the videos on this channel you used to find all this. But after I got your call, I decided not to. I wanted us to continue with this format of commenting on the videos. I don't know, it just felt better, more spontaneous.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Although we didn't ask, I like the idea.
And regarding the boxes, in Tomas's boxes, there were many reports, even interesting notes. And yes, I brought some things, but I'll save them for the end. Let's go through the video first.
All right, let's start.
This report isn't from within the company. We all knew, those of us who worked there during the event and those who came after, that the disappearances were tied to the opening of the door. But at that time, with confidentiality agreements and a few bribes, there was no solid evidence, so the company didn't give it much importance. What you see here is a compilation of images that a scientist put together with images from newscasts or newspapers. We'd look at these among ourselves, things that were useful to most of us, since we often had hypotheses and recommendations, some of which eventually became part of the company's official studies. I also remember a video that circulated from the day of the event, where it was recorded with the time and location, an earthquake. This indicated that it was generated by the portal opening, but, as with everything, some believed it, and others didn't. They chalked it up to coincidence. Here we see a group of scientists, but I would also guess that by this time, they weren't all scientists. This was afterward, and many of the recommendations I mentioned are here, even some that were made official.
For example, they're wearing yellow. Some might think that's just the color of the suit, but it's rare to see someone without it. It's a suit that blends you into the environment. Let's call it a military tactic. Also, groups of 3 or 4. At the beginning, scientists would go in alone. Another thing I notice is they're carrying a red rope to mark the path. It's very easy to lose your bearings in that place.
I don't know. I've never seen this like that. It may just be part of the environment.
Oh, I see. This is an individual's discovery, a case that was very significant. Even now, further studies are being done because of it, regarding the environment and to understand where he came from and how this happened to him.
This wasn't in the last report? No, this is definitely new. It's organic. Is some kind of fungus?
It caused a lot of fear at the time, especially among those who weren't prepared for these kinds of things.
Very interesting as always. We're about to finish for today, but you'd promised us something regarding the boxes.
Yes. I'll tell you more as we go. Today I brought you a scientist's logbook. I'll leave it with you to organize and see how you'll publish it. And I'll share something very interesting about a report that Thomas had. Something that left us in shock at the time. The report didn't have his name, so it must have been from someone else. Maybe one of the earlier colleagues, we'll never know. But in this report, it was highlighted that when recording within the yellow hallways, it had to be on VHS, as it was the only format that worked compared to the others, even after any incident. It could cut out, distort, or record with interference, but you'd still get a recording of the place. From your expression, I can tell you didn't notice.
Notice what? No, what was it?
2 things. At that time, there was no other way to capture images or document on video. All the technology you see now wasn't around back then. And the other thing is, he already had reports about the interior of the place.
Occult